Can we even use nuclear power, someone may wonder. Considering that we eventually produce this radioactive waste, where should we put it? And not close to my home. You're telling me that there is a nuclear reactor that can convert nuclear waste into electricity. Well, the nuclear reactor established in 1962 is being developed by Argonne National Laboratory into the nuclear power plant of the future. Not your typical outdated nuclear reactor. This reactor differs significantly from the nuclear power plant that generates electricity for some of our homes today. The primary distinction was in the type of fuel used to generate energy. Some type of radioactive waste was used in this nuclear reactor to generate power. Where should this batch be dumped? We have to keep the radioactive material we are left with after all the fuel has been consumed for hundreds of thousands of years since it is so deadly. They predicted that we will employ nuclear reactor technology to create this amazing clean energy future back in the 1960s. More than half of the nation's electricity will come from atomic sources by the year 2000. We haven't even come close to it as of yet. None of our nuclear waste is recycled. Instead, it simply accumulates. However, if this technology is successful, it will prove that our nuclear waste is not radioactive waste. It is a remarkably clean energy source, but the cost of maintaining it is just eating up money. Many people believe that technology is always progressing. However, this is a tale of how we neglected a technology that might have altered the course of our energy future. Before we proceed, kindly hit the like, subscribe, and bell notification feature in order not to miss out on any relevant information as we discuss what many still do not know about nuclear waste, because it is possible to use nuclear waste to make electricity for the clean energy future that we could have had. We will also see others who are attempting to bring up the issue of nuclear waste in the future and nuclear energy concerns. This is due to worries about pollution and a lack of available power. To revitalize the city, we require sustainable energy. We are developing new nuclear reactors which will ensure a steady supply of atomic energy for the country and the rest of the globe for years to come. The country and the U.S. alone have enough spent fuel to power the nation for the foreseeable future. There is sufficient spent fuel or nuclear waste in the U.S. for 150 years. Basically, nuclear energy is the ability to create extremely hot atoms inside of specific rocks. Uranium makes up the super-hot rocks. Uranium-235, Uranium-235 slumber, and Uranium-235 fever, but only a tiny fraction of naturally occurring uranium. A form of uranium that can sustain a nuclear reaction makes up less than 1% of the total. Uranium-235 is this. The neutron count in the atom is indicated by that number. Therefore, uranium typically undergoes a procedure called enrichment, which involves extracting more of the more usable uranium-235 from the less useful uranium-238. A uranium fuel pellet is around the size of your finger up to your first joint. So you bombard your uranium-235 with a large number of free atoms, which causes it to break into smaller, much more unstable atoms and release a few additional neutrons in the process. As more uranium is hit by these neutrons, a chain reaction of atom splitting occurs. And each time they split, a small amount of mass is converted into energy, which heats the rods to a high temperature and then heats the water, which heats the turbine and produces power. However, after 4 to 6 years, enough of that unique uranium has been broken for the reaction to lose its effectiveness. And that used fuel is now regarded as high-level radioactive waste. Currently, the waste is a mixture of 238 and some 235 that was left over, as well as a number of extremely unstable atoms that emit ionizing radiation. Large dosages of that ionizing radiation are harmful. It is the dreadful invisible murderer that has lethal effects on our DNA and tissues. The problem is that this nuclear waste has an absurdly lengthy radioactive half-life. But currently, in the U.S., there are also many dry casks full of radioactive waste languishing in nuclear power facilities in many other nations. In conclusion, uranium is extracted from the ground, used once, and then stored almost forever. They divided the radioactive trash into little pieces, then they melt the salts in a VAT to dissolve such fragments. When electricity is run through the VAT, it separates the uranium and other usable materials from the rest of the trash and forces them across the VAT, where they form deposits on the other side. After that, they use those deposits to create fresh fuel rods and reinsert them into reactors. Additionally, you can do that more than once. You can repeat it numerous times. Uranium is mined, used in reactors to separate out the valuable material, and then may be used again and again. When you can no longer, you put it in far more manageable, shorter-term storage. That's where we wrap things up for today. Sharing indicates you like our content and want to see it reach a wider audience. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon to stay up to speed with new releases. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.